Hey everybody, and welcome to Let's Look At, and I'm gonna probably embarrass myself with the pronunciation here, but Biento. This is, man, I apologize for my poor French, especially considering I'm Canadian, we had to take it in high school, but this is a game, and I use air quotes there, perhaps not derisively, but game in air quotes, that came out on Steam last week. It's going for $10, and this is very much part of that, like, games as art crowd. So if you thought Proteus, the exploration-based, I hesitate to say platformer, but hesitation-based, or, exploration-based nature simulator we played last week. If you thought that was an arty game, then you are definitely going to be in for a treat here with Biento. This is from the guys who made The Path, which is kind of a popular pseudo-well-known narrative, a digital narrative anyway, that I don't know too much more about, so I'm not going to embarrass myself too much. But this is a game that is basically impossible to describe. It's kind of like an impressionist French experimental film simulator. We're just gonna put the language on English here and then move on to the next phase. So it is nearly summer, as indicated by the title. At least my limited French seems to indicate that is indeed what the name of this game is called. It's gonna be a very weird Let's Look At. I should say that right off the get-go here. Also, I'm pretty sure since this lady has had her nipples surgically removed, this doesn't qualify as pornography, YouTube. No reporting for mature content, please. So we have the option to choose either, man in the pill or woman in the pill. And the basic premise, I think, of this game, from what I've read, is that basically we've got like two astronauts here, and the game that we're about to play is the game that the astronauts are playing to kind of simulate human interaction to keep them from getting really depressed during their long journeys, I guess. Anyway, we're going to take our dude and pop out of our capsule here, and we're going to get introduced to the first phase of this game, and I'm going to do my best to explain what the F is going on when I don't really know what the F is going on sometimes. The first thing I will say, and you can probably notice this right away, is that this game is pretty gosh darn beautiful. So we just spawn on this beach right here, and I really can't say enough about how beautiful the game looks from a visual standpoint. Animations, graphics, the aesthetic itself is really neat. So basically we start on this beach, and all we can see right now is this house. So we can start moving towards that if we want to. But there is also the option, I'm just using mouse and WASD to move around. You can use your controller here. But there is the option by using right click, we can kind of enter this like Matrix-like world. And the first phase of the game here is going to be exploration of the beach, which, we can kind of strip away the artifices of the game. We could walk until we actually encounter this boardwalk, like so, if I just started walking in this direction. Or, because this is going to take forever, I could just enter our right-click mode, click on this right here, and we'll encounter this element. And whenever we encounter elements like this in the game, we are treated to like a non-gameplay type cutscene that's just going to kind of put us in the feel of maybe what the game is going for. Again, I'm going to hesitate to talk about what the hell is going on in this game, but it's still non-interactive right now. We're just going to pick this up right here, and this is going to be a chess piece, which we are going to use a little bit later once we enter the second phase of the game. So we can just look around here. We can also speed down the beach, moving several, 100 times faster than we do when we walk normally. Let me just make sure I've got this going on here. Look left by moving the cursor to the left edge of the screen. We could click A to meet another player inside. This is like a multiplayer game, believe it or not. But it's very much experimental. One second, I'm botched this with the controls a little bit. It's gotten dark outside, as you can see. Actually, I find it a little easier to kind of walk with the controller. I'm using keyboard and mouse kind of simultaneously with the controller. Here we go. Alright, so I can move along the beach, again, several times faster when I'm in this Matrix mode as opposed to otherwise. It's got kind of a trippy, otherworldly feel to it. I should point out, there's basically no point to this game in a traditional sense. See, we've just encountered this right here. We're watching the moon rise here, and we can sit on this bench, I believe. I might have to click on it. No, I just use B on the controller. And again, we'll be treated to kind of a non-interactive scene where we will just watch the world change around us. It makes up the bulk of the first phase of Biento. This is very much a game that designs to put you in a mood or an atmosphere. It's a game that doesn't have much point beyond that. So this is very much a game for those people who are okay with games as art, and it's probably going to come across as really silly or perhaps even offensive to people who are not into that sort of stuff. For me, I kind of fit somewhere in the middle. This is definitely not a game that I could see myself playing a whole lot of, and I mean, it's not necessarily that kind of game either. It's more of a game, I don't even know if it's meant to have a message or what is going on with that. By the way, this is still non-interactive for now. At least I believe. Okay, now we've gotten up. That was fun to watch. Let us move onwards now. I'm just going to check and see, is that something that I can get out there? I don't think so. But if I just move my cursor to the right edge of the screen, we can, let's just enter our house here and I'll explain what's going on with the second phase. Again, rendered beautifully, but what's going on with the second phase of Biento here. The meat of the game is actually contained in this second mode, and this is where the multiplayer component for the game does exist. And it might look, if you've looked at this game, you've looked at screenshots and trailers and stuff, you might have thought that maybe this is kind of like a chess game, like maybe there's a narrative that wraps a chess game or wraps around a chess game. This is not really the case. It's more of a dialogue simulator. So we're just going to sit down here. I am waiting for a partner. I have never been able to actually connect to anybody else online, so I'm not sure if there's anybody else even playing this game. I noticed a couple people on my friends list actually own it, but I've never been able, I've waited for like 5 or 10 minutes and never connected to anybody. But the good news is we can play a simulation against the computer, so why don't we boot that up? And we'll have a little bit of representative gameplay against the computer here. So every one of those objects that I've encountered in the environment, and I think this includes ones that I got in earlier playthroughs, corresponds to a piece, like a chess piece that is located in the side of the board here. So, by, going to that boardwalk, I got a new chess piece, which is going to give us another tool for dialogue. And that's basically what this game is a dialogue simulator. We also have the option, it reminds me a little bit of Dinner Date. We have the option to, like, smoke a cigarette, which I can do just by clicking on this right here. And then the computer will respond. And it's turn-based. Basically, the computer is going to give us some more dialogue, as you can see. We can also have some wine if we want to. And we'll wait for the computer to make their move, which I believe was putting the queen on the map there. Or on the board, I should say. I mean, we'd take another hit on our cigarette or another drag on our cigarette. It's difficult. It's a difficult game to provide commentary on. So the computer is providing dialogue for us. The way that this dialogue is provided is by actually putting your piece on the board here. So I can choose what I want to say next. I don't remember what she said, but all of these on this side seem to have something to do with wine. Why don't we go with this? There is nothing anymore. That really symbolizes how I feel right now. And we'll see how she responds. Or he. Well, I guess it's a she because of the voice. I just didn't want to be presumptuous. And again, we can put this pawn somewhere. How about wine is so good? Very much like, again, an experimental kind of French film dialogue going on here where things don't necessarily make a whole lot of sense. Okay, so let's frame the narrative as if our guy is an alcoholic here. I want some wine. I always want some. And we will see the response that we get here. Her happiness is there. We do have a place where we can put this guy. I would like another glass of wine. So I can't help but feel as I play this that there is... Oh god. Oh, okay. I thought we had something, like she got shot in the head or something. I can't help but feel as I play this that there is some kind of like greater narrative element here that's going on that I just can't get to. Like I feel like it's like playing Fez. There's like some secret that just lies just beyond my grasp. I could if I wanted to, by the way. The pieces are not inhibited by the normal rules of chess. I could just knock everything over here like so and pop this down. So I'm not even sure, like, as I play this, am I spoiling something? This game is such an enigma to me, despite the fact that I put like 45 minutes to an hour into it by this point, that I was basically just like, I'm gonna make this video just to show off what this game is, because this is the kind of thing where I imagine if you bought it on Steam without knowing too much about it, you could easily find yourself pretty pissed off and be like, what the fuck is this? And I don't mean that to say that it's a bad game. It's just, it's more of a game that I feel is a little bit unjudgeable, if that makes any sense at all. Apparently she does not love us. But anyway, as you can see, we're kind of out of moves. So when we're out of moves, we can take another drag on our cigarette, we can take another glass of wine, or what we can do is kind of go back to the first phase of the game. So I could close my eyes here. I could also change the song if we wanted to. Why don't we do that here, and we'll go, we'll change our song to something else. Music is quite nice. I mean, it frames a nice atmosphere, but I don't know either what to say or what to think about this game, which I think is the kind of intention of the developers. So good on you in that case. These guys, I think the development studio is called Tale of Tales, and apparently they have a history of making games like this. So, it's one of those things where if you're watching this video and you're familiar with the developer, you probably don't need me to say too much. Looks like there's something over there in the distance. Why don't we walk over to that just to demonstrate, the difference in speed between walking in the real world and walking in the, what I'm calling the quote-unquote Matrix world, the Johnny Mnemonic world, if you will. Also, I'm digging these space pants, man. If that is what 2060 is going to look like, my calves are going to look fabulous. By the way, we cannot, as far as I know, get a view of our player's face. It's not like we have any camera controls or anything like that. There is supposedly a sprint key in the game, I've never been able to get it to work, but this isn't Call of Duty. It's more about the journey than destination, if you will. So I don't feel like I'm missing out on too much. Is this another bench, or is it some kind of sign or something? Or some kind of sai, and we're gonna get like a Gangnam style FMV here or something. I apologize for cracking these base level jokes, but you know, I gotta give myself something. This is taking me a little bit longer than I would like, so let's just click on it and we'll see what this old radio has to say to us. You know what the game reminds me of, to a certain extent, actually. Oh, there's another chess piece, as you can see. I can't help but feel, as I go on a tangent from my earlier comment, that there is, like, there's an ending to this game. It kind of feels it's like a short film in a way, in that, like, you know, if I just continually enter, have the conversations, use all my pieces, then exit again, get more pieces, eventually I'll get all the pieces and we'll reach some kind of resolution, but I can't guarantee that. What I will say is that our house used to be a shack, and now it has turned into kind of like Versailles, so I guess as time goes along, there will be some progressions like that, but this game is very much a mystery wrapped in an enigma for me. What was I going to say earlier? Oh yeah, it reminds me of this game, and I wish I could remember the name. It was one of the games the first games I did like a Let's Look At for. It was a game where you were in a car crash, and then they just placed you in an environment, and you had to like look around and solve puzzles that were kind of just atmospheric or ambient. I don't really know what to say, because I've forgotten the name of that game as well, but it reminds me, this game reminds me a little bit of that. But yes, I mean, I feel like I'm tongue-tied. I feel like I'm not necessarily doing a great job of articulating my thoughts, but I feel like I'm not doing a great job of having any thoughts with respect to this game. This is just a game where I think like it is what it is. I wish that I had more comments on it beyond the fact that it's herp to derp games as art, right? I mean, art is not beyond criticism or above criticism, but it's kind of beyond the traditional criticism that I have. You know, oh, the gameplay is fucked up or the controls are all janky. So it's weird for me, but you know, let's go through another conversation here. Maybe something will reveal itself that we haven't seen before. Sure, let's start with a natural conversation. What could we do? That's maybe a strange way to start a conversation, but it could be a correct path here. I don't know what she did right there. She just spoke to me in her alien tongue, and then we were going to go on our tangent about wine. Just shut up about wine, Paul Giamatti from Sideways. Well, she's not wrong about that. This is not going to do much for us, so apparently this pawn is worthless. Again, I don't know if there's some kind of sequence that you want to play this stuff in, or if it matters at all. I am just a vessel to show you some footage from, maybe I should have had some wine after I said wine is so good. But yeah, I'm just a vessel to show you some footage of Biento l'été. And I apologize again for my French accent, which is very unbecoming of a Canadian with a French-ish last name. But in any case, we're going to place our queen here, knock over all the pieces like a 10-year-old kid on a rampage, and assuming we don't have any other gameplay after that, that is basically going to do it. I probably should have poured myself a glass of wine here. Yep, that's basically going to do it for my Let's Look at a Biento l'été. I have absolutely no thoughts on this game. Hopefully, the video did a good enough job of showing off what this game is all about, and you know whether you are or are not into it. I'm sure this is going to spark a debate in the comments regardless, because people always get either bent out of shape or perhaps overly protective of games like this when they don't necessarily need it. But in any case, I'm glad that this kind of game can inspire some discussion and thought. In any case, this concludes the weirdest Let's Look At I have done in a long time. I hope you enjoyed yourself. As always, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time when maybe we'll have some guns and more traditional style killing people instead of all this weird pseudo-intellectual Northernlion fodder. In any case, again, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.